Well, good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Today's Sunday, April 12th, and we're here to talk about all things related to the job market, job searches, hiring, employers, the trends shaping the future of work, and it's all about recruiting. I'm Marc Belaiche, co-founder of Guhuza, also known as Marc B, and I'm joined by Marc Anthony Jackson, Marc A. We've got a lot to cover, lot to cover today, Marc A. We were off
Oh,
last
there's
week.
there's a lot, Mark. There's a lot, Mark. You've been gone, I've been gone. We've been bouncing back and forth. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back with you, especially.
I know.
That we could finally be together and doing this. But there has been a lot happening across hiring, AI, and the labor market in general. Like it's just a lot's been going on, and it feels like a good time to finally come back from this break and, just get down to what really matters to everyone, right?
100%. So let's get into it. So, AI adding complexity to hiring. Like, really, one of the biggest surprises in hiring right now is that AI is not making things faster, and in a lot of times, it's in many cases, it's actually adding time and adding complexity to the process.
I think you're so right on that. You're hitting the nail on the head because it's catching people off guard, really. A lot of companies are expecting that AI is going to make hiring simpler and faster, but in reality, it's just kind of creating a lot of volume right now, more noise and more steps to verify and identify. Mark B, what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, recruiters are spending more time trying to separate real candidates from resumes that have just been generated just from like the job description. They people generate resumes, and people are probably going to get this idea now, but it's already out there. They're generating resumes based on the job description, making it look like they are a perfect candidate for it. And what's happening is these recruiters are getting inundated with what looks like great, perfect resumes. So takeaways, job seekers, make your applications authentic, specific. Don't rely on AI to do everything for you. And recruiters, really simplify your process. Focus on live engagement instead of over filtering. Like they're really that's really what it comes down to. So um, we're talking
And
also about AI generated resumes, and that is also causing other problems as well.
it kind of feels like there's a lot of friction in the process right now for both job seekers and employers. And in a lot of cases, it's shifting the workload more in a way that both the employer and the job seeker have to do more work to actually find out who the right candidate is, like really and truly. And you made a good point there about the AI generated resumes. You see on LinkedIn, it says, tailor your resume for this job, for every job. Is that helping anyone? Is it helping anyone, Mark?
It's not. It's just making it worse. I talk to so many recruiters every day, every week, and they're just saying they're getting inundated. And that, another thing is where people can apply to like 100 jobs like with a click of the button. Like, what's that doing? Like, that's just creating volume. That's creating noise. I mean, we've talked about this many times with Guhuza. I mean, we somebody asked me, I did a presentation this week, and somebody said, well, how many resumes am I allowed to put up there? And I said, just one showing your background, and that's it. We'll let you know when there's a job that matches your background for a live interview. I mean, but the other flip side of it is the job board side, and where it's all public, there's many jobs listed. People are just applying. It's just a mess. It
You
really
know what
is.
it is kind of like? It's like it's getting harder to separate real skill from good formatting and good prompting.
Right.
Everyone's learned how to prompt. Everyone's been using ChatGPT and all that for
Yeah.
the past couple years. Everyone's kind of figured out what they need to say in order to get where they need to get to.
All right.
And that's kind of why real conversations matter more than ever. And that's what I really like about what we're doing with Kahuza.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to connect people in a way to speak to someone faster, get you right in front of that person that could actually make a difference. And you could
Exactly.
explain yourself too. You don't have to, you're not really based on just a resume. You're yourself. You got to explain who you are.
Right.
And in that quick and impromptu way.
So now the other thing, a survey that we came across our desk this week, 60% of workers are currently worried about layoffs, and that's shifting really pressure directly onto managers because managers are also concerned about their jobs, and but they're also at the front, like they're the communication between keeping people motivated and keeping things stable, and the uncertainty that's going on. Um, and when employees feel unstable, productivity, retention, that internal dealings and things like that, those all deteriorate quite quickly, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's really affecting the morale, the trust, the retention of employees. And if communication is weak during that kind of period, people feel everyone feels it. Everyone feels it immediately. It's kind of uncertain, like what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it's crazy. 60% are worried about layoffs, and I
60%.
mean, there's a lot of layoffs happening as well. So, and then, and I this has come up a lot most recently. Like entry level roles are being disrupted,
Oh my
right?
God.
You got a major structural shift, like all these jobs, like I mean, when I was younger, customer service, call center, all these kind of entry level jobs, just they're being reshaped, they're being eliminated, they're being like it's not the same. So, what are you seeing? What are you hearing, Mark? Mark A?
Oh my, we went over this last week on my Thursday at 2 o'clock with the job seekers. It really is, we're seeing it, everyone's saying it. It's like every job requires 2 to 3 years for just a normal full-time position.
Yeah,
And what I like to tell people is that you got to expand from just looking at those full-time roles. You got to look at contract roles. You got to look at temp roles because at least at the end of the day, you're getting experience, you're getting your name out there, and you have the chance to be put on full-time. But a lot of companies aren't really kind of taking that risk to bring someone on full-time and have them on and deal with all the consequences of and if they don't work out and this and that. I don't know if that's what you've been seeing too, Mark,
yeah.
but that's what I've been hearing all and over and over again.
It's like entry level roles that used to be like, the starting point, no experience, new graduate. Now they're expected to have like, 2 years of experience for an entry level role. Like it's really weird. Like, and I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years now, and it's even tougher than, ever before, really. So I feel bad. Like, youth unemployment hovers around 13, 14, 15%. That's really high. That's
It's
unfor
kind of
yeah.
like employers are kind of expecting stronger communication, better technical skills, and more adaptability from day one when someone doesn't even know what's going on.
I know exactly. So if you're a job seeker, focus on skills early. I mean, how is AI disrupting the area that you're in? I was on another session this week and they did talk about entry level jobs and they said that, like skilled trades, healthcare workers, like those ones, even new graduates, like they don't have the experience, but they are in big demand. And so sometimes you got to pivot, right? The person who was doing the webinar this week talked about how, if you're a new student, like a new graduate, and you're out there in the market, and 3, 4 years ago when you went to school, you thought, okay, well, this could be my path for getting a job. Well, guess what? The market's changed. Who knew about the impact that AI would have, and the job that you thought you were going to have, not there anymore. So,
And
so
then one more thing
yeah,
I wanted to add on top of that is just that, even if healthcare is one of the growing markets, one of the areas that people should be pivoting towards, you don't just have to be a nurse or a doctor. There's more than just that when in healthcare. There's
that's true.
administrators, there's a lot of different people that play roles in this as well. So just I wanted to throw that out there to
Yeah.
people. It's not just be a doctor and you just be fine. You could do a lot more.
100%, yeah. Caregivers, personal support workers, yeah, all kinds of different types of roles are available that way for sure. So AI, I mean, we talked about this before, really is reshaping the labor market. It's not just replacing jobs, it's redefining how work gets done, and things are evolving, right? Things are changing so quickly, and AI is creating noise in the hiring process, but it's also making speed more important than ever.
Hey, and we're seeing all these changes. Roles are changing, expectations are changing, but hiring still kind of feels slow, doesn't it?
It
It still
does.
kind of feels like a process.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and what I'm seeing is the companies that still win are the ones that really engage candidates quickly, don't like good talent sit in long pipelines. Like, still make decisions. There's a lot of employers that are like, like maybe there's somebody else better. I hear layoffs and all that kind of stuff, and they end up losing candidates that were in the pipeline because they thought there might be somebody better, and that is also hurting their chances, right?
And while AI is changing the way work is done, it's also making responsiveness, how quickly you get back to an employer, how quickly it's making that your competitive advantages as a job seeker and as an employer. How quickly can I get this person on? Because that's going to be it.
It's funny too, right? Because, we know with Guhuza we've been building is that, for employers, they upload a job, push a button, and start interviewing candidates within, 15 minutes is our goal for the first interview. And they're like, well, wait a sec, I don't want to go that fast. And it's like, why not, right? You have a position to fill. Like, why do you want to extend it? Like, just start interviewing, get used to what the market is, find out what candidates are looking for. So,
There's no use in having a slow process, Mark. There's no use.
exactly, exactly. So a few more things before we round up. Healthcare, we talked about, remains pretty competitive. Probably one of the tightest labor markets in the whole scheme of things. High demand, talent shortages, burnout, they're all contributing factors to this thing. So you've got that. You've got Canada and the US, like we're seeing a low hire, low fire type of environment. Cautious market, companies aren't aggressively hiring or laying people off. It's kind of like you know, where are things
A
at?
weird
Where are things
spot.
on? But then the headlines, are like thousands of people got laid off from this company or that company. That's what people hear, so they project that to say, well, the whole world, everybody's getting laid off or whatever. But it's just not really the truth. Um, what else are you seeing, Mark?
I'm seeing that freelance and contract work, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, like temporary work, that those roles are growing. There's still growth in those areas.
Yeah,
A lot of companies want to have flexibility in who they bring on, when they bring them on, if they're a good fit, and depending on the projects and everything like that. A lot of non-traditional pathways for opportunities exist right now, and for many people, they aren't looking at those opportunities. I think it's a real good place for people to start looking now, especially you don't want to see that rejection letter every 5 minutes in your email. You don't want to just start looking at areas that want you, that are active, like temporary work, contract work. It's not the end all be all option, but in a time like now, I think it's a very important option that people got to take in and consider.
definitely, yeah. And then people are workers specifically are saying that they have less and less confidence in their tech skills, and but employers expect more technical capabilities and have an expectation that somebody comes in and they're like up to speed with technology, but
I
it's
mean,
changing so fast.
even looking at it when ChatGPT first came out, that was a few years ago. It's more than it was then. It's advanced. It's you have to ask it different prompts. You can't ask it the same prompts you were asking a few years ago to get the same answer at this point. So people, you have to stay on top of it. You have to go where the market is going, and the market says you gotta keep learning, keeps training, and there's methods to keep updated. And I was telling job seekers this week in the 2 o'clock on Thursday that it would be really good for you to have something to show off, have a YouTube page where where show you're doing something, you're actively working on something, so that someone can look through and be like, oh, okay, that person's doing something, they're working, they're still keeping their skills fresh. Might be someone worth interesting doing an interview with.
That's it. That's just it.
You got to get the
Um,
jobs to come to you.
That's right. Well, so other sectors, engineering, tech staffing, we've seen, despite the uncertainty, demand really remains strong. Two-thirds of new graduates also came through. Two-thirds of new graduates willing to accept lower pay in exchange for job stability. And that tells you something, doesn't it?
Tells you something. That
Mindset
tells you something.
shift. And then, there's so much stuff here this week because we've been away for so long. But,
Yeah.
um, will AI replace recruiters? I don't know. AI is going to
Mm.
handle administrative tasks, but recruiters who focus on really relationships, like, really truly understanding, having good conversations will become even more valuable.
And you
It's,
hear it all the time. Like people hate getting interviewed by robots, and they've all these. There's so many times people just complain like I got interviewed by a robot the other day.
yeah,
I don't know where it went. I didn't get to build a relationship. I didn't get to speak to the person. Um, don't know where it's gonna go. So,
yeah.
and at the end of the day, a person still has to sit down and watch that recording. So, does it make sense?
I, when I did my presentation this week at the Canada Job Expo, I mean, it was, people were saying that they got invitations to do a video interview, but just like record it with a virtual interviewer. And then another guy said that he got an invitation to do like a chat, like just a chat texting with a virtual person. Did they hear anything back? No. So it's just like, where's that data going? Like, it's just more stuff. So. So
Ooh, Mark
before
B,
we wrap up,
I
yeah, go
want
ahead,
to
Mark.
ask you something before.
Yeah, Mark.
I got a couple questions for you. I've been hearing people have been
Uh-oh.
asking about you, Mark,
Uh-oh.
and people want to know a little bit about you
About
before we
me.
leave off today. Yes, I'm gonna ask you three simple questions,
Oh my
okay?
gosh. Okay.
I know I'm putting you on the spot right now, but I gotta give you these questions.
Wait, we didn't talk about this, did
We
we?
didn't talk about this, but Mark, I think it's important. People gotta
All
know.
right.
My first question to you is, what made you feel like the hiring process was taking too long?
Um, well, I think, I mean, we've been through those struggles before, and, like, I've talked to so many recruiters, and, the worst part, this is funny because the worst part about getting a job to work on as a recruiter is having to fill it, right? Having to go out and find candidates. And that shouldn't be a problem. That should be the easier part about it. Like, really where recruiters add value is not like the administrative side of scheduling interviews, but like actually listening to people, talking to people, interviewing people, really finding out what they're all about.
I like that answer, Mark. I like that answer. My second question to
Oh,
you that we're getting from people is, what was the first real step in turning Guhuza from an idea into a company?
wow. Well, I mean, it was really, brainstorming. Like, I mean, Ray Gertner and I, we sat down many times. We had a whiteboard in front of us, and we kind of brainstormed different ideas and where the challenges were. And Ray himself felt the challenges were uh, connecting with job seekers, and when he had a need for his companies, where it was just kind of like frustrating. But we kind of took a look at Uber and kind of thought, like, why, if you can say where you want to go from and to, you push a button on Uber, and you get somebody showing up within 3 or 4 minutes. Why can't we do the same thing in recruiting? Upload a job, push a button, start interviewing candidates. And the frustrations that we've heard so many years, over so many years from job seekers too, where it's just so frustrating looking for a job, finding jobs that match, uh, tweaking the resume and cover letter, applying, and then never hearing back in most cases. I mean, something's got to be done.
Something has
Something's
to
got to be done.
change. Something has to give. Something has to
Something's got to
give.
change. Yeah.
And then you
What's
answered a little bit of my last
all
question, but my
right?
last question for you would be, who are the key people behind Guhuza in the early days, and what did they each bring to the table?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, my co-founder and I, and DeFrancesco from TorontoJobs.ca, we have lots of experience in recruitment and job board and knowledge of frustrations that employers and recruiters and job seekers have. So that was kind of like the seeds of us kind of coming together, and then we went out. We needed somebody to kind of develop the platform, the technology behind it, and we did a really good thorough. I feel. I mean, I think we interviewed like eight to ten tech people, because we're not. Ann and I are not. Neither of us are programmers or developers, and we knew we needed that, and so we went out and did a bunch of interviews, and Ray was kind of like our number one guy. It was just right fit, and we just kind of started talking about the different things, and kind of went from there.
Mark, that was some beautiful answers. I think people really wanted to hear this, and
I,
I'm
I'm
sorry I
gonna
caught you off guard.
I'm gonna get you next week. I'm gonna get you next week, but it's okay. I mean, this is kind of off. We should be talking about stuff, right? We should be talking
Yeah,
about different things. So Thursdays at 2 o'clock
2 o'clock.
p.m. Eastern time. You want to talk about what happens?
Oh, I host a open house on Zoom, and it's meant to be an interactive session where we have job seekers and we're just talking about the different areas and recruiting and what employers are looking for. And I just give everyone's welcome. I give job seekers, employers, anyone who comes on a chance to ask questions and really talk through what's happening in the market right now. Understand where other people, you're going to meet some other people in there who are experiencing the same thing, who are struggling. And I think it's a real good opportunity to just get in there and, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. Ask questions, be engaged, and let's try and figure out ways that we can help each other, build ourselves better in the marketplace.
For sure.
And I
Awesome.
want to
Well,
just mention it's free for everyone. Free for
it's free.
everyone. Please come, it's great to join in. There'll be a link in the description, I believe, Mark.
Yeah, we'll put it
Yes.
in the comments and
Comments.
in our post here wherever you're watching, and yeah, and join our social media too. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever you're watching, Snapchat, we got it all. So, all right, cool. Anything else, Mark?
Just want to say there's a lot of things changing, but one thing still holds true. Speed and human connection is the only thing that really matters.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's my 2 cents for today, Mark. That's my two
for,
cents.
for sure. Mark, hey, we'll see you next Sunday for next Sunday Night Live.
Next
And
Sunday night, yeah.
thanks for watching, everybody. And wishing you a good week ahead. And we'll go from there. We'll see how the week progresses.
Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you then.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.